Friday night during football season in Penn Township, our youth ministry and our community here at the parish opens our doors to young people in grades 9 through 12. We have the after party after every home football game for Penn Trafford. We offer free food, we have a DJ, we have outdoor games, we have a bonfire. It's ultimately just an amazing place for young people in the community to come and hang out with their friends. 300 young people from Penn Township that show up on Friday nights after the home football games, and these adults are here because they love them.
Definitely the place to be in Penn Township on a Friday night.
These young people needed something, and our community was able to provide that for them. We took 10 young people this year from this parish to the National Catholic Youth Conference, and they left as amazing young people, but they returned stronger, more confident, ready to serve, ready to be involved more in their parish, knowing that Christ calls each of them by name. They each have a different purpose.
I'm Trista Bowser, and I'm from the Diocese of Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
And that they're called to more. Young people are the next generation of the church, and having events like this helps them to embrace their faith and grow as adults.
My name is Mary Sampe, and I want to tell you a quick story about my sister Angela Marie Phillips, who is 34 years old, who died of a drug addiction. She was a wonderful mother and a wife, a sister, and a friend. She was my only sister. I have 2 brothers, and we were very, very close. My sister started taking prescription opiates because she has an autoimmune disorder called lupus. She began taking those opiates for her pain, for this disease, and she became addicted to them. As time went on, it became a downward spiral. Her relationships, her job, all of these things were being taken away from her, and it became clear that she was addicted to these prescription drugs. She shared with me that no longer could she get her prescription pills, and she made the mistake of trying heroin one time. Within a month, she had died from overdose of heroin in a hotel room. Truly, I don't believe that most people choose to just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to be a drug addict. There's a lot of things that lead up to that addiction.
The bishop called a group of us together and said, essentially, this is a major problem that we need to, as a church, address in some realistic and helpful way. Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Greensburg is the social service arm of the Diocese of Greensburg. We're involved in the education sessions. We're involved in family counseling and recovery support for families of people who are addicted, who are in recovery. We are also going to be involved in resource connection, connecting people to other resources in the community, making referrals to treatment services and other support services for families and people in recovery.
And that's why we want to share her story. In hindsight, if I would have had the resources and the knowledge of what the drug epidemic really means, I would have been able to better help my sister and teach her healthy ways to cope.
I think the most enjoyable thing about being the priest is being able to celebrate the Mass and the sacraments for people, and just being around parishioners and experiencing their lives, both in the happy times as well as when the difficult times come, to be able to be a comfort to them the best that I can.
Miss Jenny, how you doing, dear?
I try to extend love in my ministry basically by trying to be positive.
Lord, we ask you to watch over our sister Jenny. We ask this with confidence, for you live and reign forever and ever. Mighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son,
and trying to help people through a sense of joy.
You look very pretty today. You're going to be like Rosalind Russell. How's Rosalind Russell? You like that? Yeah.
Joy is the gift from God. That is the awareness that no matter what, God will never abandon us, and that God in time will always restore us and bring us that sense of joy that we need to continue on.
God's been good to me, and I felt there had to be some way to give back. Everything we have is a gift of God. All of creation exists because God loved us into existence. That's why the primary commandment is love God and then love your neighbor. We're called to love. And how we do that, or how we use the gifts. There is still a cutoff point. I teach business management, and I've been given gifts. God's given me gifts. I certainly have developed them. I've used them. I've worked hard at them. But one of the ways I think I was called is to give back as an ordained deacon. Someone is traveling with Paul. We're called to participate in that giving of gifts, to participate in God's love, to give in a greater way, if you can, from the gifts that you've been given. You know, people talk about the Big Bang of creation. Well, God's Big Bang was the love of the Trinity explodes into all of this good stuff. Well, we're part of that. And so as I give, those gifts get shared and they grow. I will not quit giving, because that's the only way this world changes.
The commandment is for us to love with great love because we've been loved greatly by God. I think, too, it's just part of our nature to want to go out of ourselves. We need to become more human. We need to go out of ourselves and love greatly. And love greatly simply means to sacrifice for someone other than myself, to give what I've been given. And I've been given so many blessings, to share those blessings with someone else in a generous way. That's not an option for a person who follows Jesus. It's not an option to be generous or not to be generous. The decision then comes down to us. Where should we be generous and how should we be generous? Who should we be generous with? And that takes a lot of prayer. We need to pray and ask the Lord, where do you want me to share the blessing you gave to me? Where do you want me to use the blessing of health, of faith, of finances, of talents, so that I might further your kingdom here on earth? Because we ultimately are partners with God in this great enterprise of the kingdom that Jesus came to proclaim to us.